Good morning. Today is, wow, good afternoon. It's 5 minutes to noon already. I had to spend a lot of time working, and quickly going to wrap up and do my thing because I forget constantly and when I'm off screen. Also, I want my kids to really understand what this is about. It's a personal process that I associate with a lot of really positive memories. So for example, memories are extremely important to me. I want to remind everyone that memories are good or bad. And when it comes to something called the Livingston Police Department, I am forever traumatized for all police or any human being with a gun and a badge and a uniform because of the actions of the Livingston Police Department. Yesterday, my behavior was so erratic because I was so upset since I was reminded of the complete invasion of privacy that the Livingston Police Department conducted themselves in on multiple occasions. Yesterday, the Livingston Police Department decided to shine a flashlight and, what is the legal term for what they did? Ms. Resnick, there are certain subject matters that I choose to avoid Ms. Resnick interacting with. That is because no matter how much I disagree with something, I am not going to be a part of this gotcha Dan game where I do something that allows any human being to have any ability to put any handcuffs on me. Just give me 1 second, let me get this out of the way really quickly and while Ms. Resnick does her thing. Look at how solemn this looks, you know? We make a lot of jokes, and while Ms. Resnick does this, I want to remind everyone that there's a really big difference between actors. Oh, wait a second. Text. Oh, what is this? Is this from you? Mm-hmm. Ms. Resnick, you're allowed to speak.
Unlawful entry onto curtilage.
Unlawful entry onto curtilage. So the Livingston Police Department, for no reason whatsoever, apparently. I mean, I know the reason. And I'm going to put it in something called a memorandum of law, as well as several motions that prevent human beings from entering onto another person's property in conjunction with an action that's already happened. Ms. Resnick lawfully received a restraining order. That is something I'm allowed to say, is that correct? You're not allowed to say that you received a restraining order? Ms. Resnick is not responding. You see, that's, I guess, the smartest response. You see, this is my channel. This is about my perception of what's going on. So my entire business is completely interrupted. The process is completely affected. And I'm not even able to communicate properly with my assistant during a time where I'm in the middle of filming part 2 of the CJP court process. But I agree with her. I don't disagree with her. I agree with her that the ambiguity and the unlawfulness of the process prevents a human being from making a logical decision without consideration of fear. When a human being is dealing with law enforcement, the courts, and matters of fact, they should never be in fear. The courts are not something to be afraid of, neither is law enforcement. The fact that she and I are in a position that find ourselves being forced to be silenced, which is an unlawful gag order, is in itself a disturbing fact that any intelligent person should ask themselves, wow, he's right. No matter how much we don't like him, he is absolutely right. And that's where the point really comes in, is that you ignore the reality of the law and choose to only apply it when it's convenient for you in conjunction with the human beings that you have a personal vendetta against. And when I say you, I'm speaking directly to law enforcement of the Livingston Police Department. I have been forced to identify myself. I have been forced to show ID. I have not shown my ID to the Livingston Police Department because they can go fuck themselves, since they are extremely rude. The mayor and the chief of police have supported unlawful arrests of myself and Ms. Resnick. We have had closed-door meetings with both the mayor and the chief of police at the same time. And the chief of police and the mayor in unison have stated that they are very confident in their law enforcement's position, that they will prevail in court. And as I sit here today, I would like to make the announcement that I have had all criminal charges against me that have any impact whatsoever dismissed against me, which means that I've been unlawfully arrested 4 times and put into county jail for 31 days total. 3 out of those 4 cases have been completely dismissed, which leaves only 1 case which I want to go to trial on, desperately, because it is a First Amendment right violation, it is a complete violation of due process, and it proves my federal habeas corpus petition, as well as every single other federal case that I filed against the County of Essex and the state of New Jersey in conjunction with their actions against me as both a father, a human being, and a citizen of the United States. Not to mention the fact that what I've done for the United States is far in excess of what anyone that is judging me has done. You could fucking arrest 1 million people. It wouldn't account for 1 life saved. I assure you, any intelligent human being would agree with me. Please remember one very, very important thing. And yes, you can make a dumbass argument that if you arrest Jeffrey Dahmer before he kills a victim, you're a hero. But that is only if you have a time machine, you can prove something. And that's why law enforcement is very dangerous when it's unchecked. It creates an air of superiority and power that doesn't exist, and it should not be a matter of fact. It should be a matter of principle. If you don't understand what that means, please take a moment to rewind and figure it out. Now, one thing I want to remind everyone is that I am a law-abiding citizen. There's a movie called Law-Abiding Citizen. You know, unfortunately, it's a little too tragic. You ever seen it, Jamie?
Never.
Yeah. I gotta remind everyone 2 things. Number 1, this is an art piece, nothing more. Number 2, in order to have any formal judgment against me, you have to watch every single video that is posted from the beginning to end. So it is one continuous product. This one continuous product is edited into parts that cannot be used against me. I am doing it with my First Amendment right, as well as artistic expression, because I do not take a single penny for what I do, which means that I do not profit a penny for any of these bold and inaccurate lies that are said against me. Those 2 factors in conjunction have the U.S. Constitution making me absolutely bulletproof, which means that unless I violate the U.S. Constitution and offend a human being and slander them and create some sort of a tortious interference in their business, then I do not have the protection of the U.S. Constitution. And in the course of the last 6 years, in over 10,000 hours of filming, I haven't one time, not once, violated that law, and I have never, ever even thought for 1 second to do any harm to any human being that has hurt me and my children more than anything imaginable. And you have all been completely fooled by the notion of an image that you have created in your minds about who I really am. Who I am is spoken by my action, a history, a documented 35 years legacy of a human being who has done everything for every person he's ever met and any stranger that has needed his help. Because that is the way a human should be. And my boys need to be raised in an environment where they're proud of their father and their actions. They aren't ashamed about the work that he has done to help millions of human beings. I have no interest to benefit of anything that you might think I'm lying about, let alone actually benefit, let alone the fact that I haven't seen a single person or a shred of evidence that refutes my story. Not one. Not one thing I've seen to refute it. Forget about an actual counter argument. You need to know something, the Robert Rules of Order as well as the rules of debate, to understand the fact that before you even have a counter argument against me, you have to prove that there's a reason why there's a counter argument, which is, hey, I believe that I have facts to dispute it. When I was a young man, I got a perfect score on my SATs, but not on the English part, on the math part, at a very young age. That caused me to be teased in the math, intelligentsia community. So I didn't just win 1, I won 2 national essay contests. I only entered 2 national essay contests. They were in the English language, and I didn't use spell check other than the basic little red squiggles that came on, and I didn't plagiarize a single thing, and I wrote every single word on each one of those essays. I won both national essay contests. When you win 2 national essay contests in the late 1990s, when there are 50,000 minimum entries and 270,000 minimum entries in the other one, I assure you, if you applied yourself and didn't leave in the middle of the English part because you were so bored and offended by the fact that you were forced, first and foremost, they wouldn't even let me use my calculator. It's a very long story, but there's only so many handicaps a human being can receive. Eventually, the best of him will come out in order to disprove even the biggest naysayers. I couldn't even be in school on the days my name was announced because it was so humiliating for me to look at the people who teased me. They didn't get a perfect score themselves either. But the fact that I said that I got a perfect score and I then referenced the math part and I left off the English, I very calmly said, look, if I really finished the test, I would have gotten a full perfect score. But I love Saved by the Bell, and I really wanted to get a 1417 or whatever invented score that Zach Morris got. So I hit it a few times. I got it 1420, 1440. I wasn't able to get it just perfect. But essentially, that would require me to not finish a series of questions, and they wouldn't let me leave the exam at one point. At one point, they tried to disqualify my test. They said, no problem, you can just do that. They didn't. Everything is documented in paperwork, which can easily be refuted. To look it up, you can just find it. It's public knowledge, and you just, if you don't ask the company, I believe it was the college boards. The college boards it's a very fascinating process. Like, do you know who owns the SATs?
I have no idea.
All right, so that's an interesting process, but essentially, if anyone is wondering about any other things that I've invented or created that I don't take state ownership to, there was a period of about 5 years where I spent a lot of time on the road in the Northeast because I had to for my line of work. I spent it with my future wife, Mallory, who I really loved, and rather than staying in hotel rooms, we've stayed in some of the nicest hotel rooms in the world, I promise you. But rather than staying in hotel rooms, I spent a lot of time interacting with her, finding bed and breakfasts. And I tried to explain to her that the bed and breakfast system is the future of hospitality and the hospitality industry. And believe it or not, she actually understood and agreed, and some of our best memories we've ever had are in the most memorable bed and breakfasts in the Northeast, and one of them is called the Golden Pheasant. And it's on the banks of the Delaware River, only an hour from here. And I made a joke to Jamie yesterday. We're watching a movie called Do Not Enter. And if your name is Jimmy, if your name is X, and if your name is Jamie, you should really highly take a look and use your memory at the same time while watching that movie. Please remember one very, very important thing when you're watching this. The entire concept of Airbnb and VRBO was first implemented by myself and Mallory as a focus group amongst thousands of other individuals. We're out of time. Card's full.
Wow. That was such a great segment.